Hi everyone, welcome to week 5 of our Comp 2 class, English 2767. As per usual, you have a list of things that you need to do this week at the top of our weekly module. You should read beginning and ending and guiding your reader, which can be found on these pages in the field guide. You should complete the discussion board 5 by Wednesday, February 16th. Journal 2 and Homework 5 are both due by February 20th. And then you should read Drawing a Line in the Sand by February 20th as well, and complete the brainstorming for writing project 2. A lot due on Sunday this week. As a reminder, I'll be posting this video later today, which is Saturday the 12th. Don't forget that your final draft of our first project is due tomorrow, Sunday, by the end of the day. For homework 5, choose one of the following quotes from Drawing a Line in the Sand and write a couple of paragraphs explaining how the quote applies to the article. What is the article trying to explain about the quote? And then another paragraph with your personal reaction to how the article was written. So you're going to end up with 3 paragraphs total. 2 paragraphs discussing the quote and its relation to the article, and then a final paragraph talking about your overall reaction to the article. Your quotes to choose from are right here. You can read those. Here is where you will find the reading, Drawing a Line in the Sand. Journal 2 is asking you to write a 2-page reaction to one of the following 2 quotes. You just need to pick one. You don't need to write about both quotes. The first of which, the more clearly we can focus our attention on the wonders and realities of the universe about us, the less taste we shall have for destruction. And then, remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. Try to make sense of what you see and wonder about what makes the universe exist. Be curious. And however difficult life may seem, there's always something you can do and succeed at. It matters that you don't just give up. So, 2-page reaction to that. It doesn't say so in the instructions here. Actually, it does. It's just up here. Your journal does need to be double spaced. I don't care a whole lot about the spelling and grammar and that sort of thing. I do care about the length, and I do care about the depth of thought that you're demonstrating in the journal. Brainstorming for project 2. Actually, before we talk about this, let's take a look at what project 2 is. Project 2 is going to be a synthesis, which is a good chance this is a slightly new type of writing for some of you. At the top of our assignment sheet here, you'll see a breakdown of some important due dates. The prompt itself, you'll choose a STEM-related topic that you're interested in. Your audience is someone with a general understanding of that topic. And then you're going to find 2 to 3 articles and write a 1,000 to 1,250 word synthesis essay. And I have an explanation here of what a synthesis is. A synthesis is not a summary. You will need to do little to no summarizing in this paper, especially since 1,000 words is not a terribly long paper. So I'm going to want to see that you are spending a lot of your space, a lot of your time developing your ideas and not just summarizing what the articles are about. But let's talk about what a synthesis is. There are a couple different types of synthesis. There are explanatory syntheses and argumentative syntheses. An explanatory synthesis seeks to bring sources together to explain a perspective and the reasoning behind it. Whereas an argumentative synthesis seeks to bring sources together to make an argument. You can take either approach there, whatever you feel more comfortable with or whatever you feel like will be the appropriate challenge for you. All synthesis essays, regardless of the type, are going to be looking at the relationship between the sources. So I know all of you have used sources before to write an essay, but there's a chance that what you have done is come up with a stance or a thesis and then went and found sources to back up your thesis. A synthesis doesn't really work that way. A synthesis, you're going to be developing an idea directly in response to what the sources are saying. And more so, you're also going to be showing how the sources connect to each other in some way. Do the sources agree with each other? Do they have conflicting points of view? Does any of the information amongst the sources contradict? So, a synthesis, you're not only developing a point, but you're also looking at how the sources are in conversation with each other. You can think of a synthesis in this way. You examine several sources and then decide on your thesis. You can't have a thesis until you understand the sources. Examine what the sources are saying and then identify something that they both would support. Maybe what they support is an argument for or against something. Maybe what they support is an explanation of why something is the way it is. You have to read the sources, understand them before you can know this. So don't start with a thesis or main idea. Start by engaging with the sources and figuring out what those sources have in common. Have a breakdown of the steps here. I'm guessing I probably don't need to read this for you. If you have any questions about the steps here, you can of course let me know. Here we have a reiteration of the requirements, 1,000 to 1,250 words, APA format. Ideally, you would write an APA because this is a sort of STEM-focused class. But if for some reason you would really rather use MLA, I don't really have a problem with that. Although I will say if you plan on going into a STEM-based field, APA will be a little bit more useful to you than MLA. For this paper, I want you to avoid using I and other first-person pronouns, so I, me, my, our, we. And also second person, really, while we're on the topic, so no you, your, yours. You need to have a clear thesis that is either explanatory or argumentative. You need to have transitions from one paragraph to the next. Make sure that you are using the proper diction or word choice for this sort of paper that is going to be carrying a formal tone. You need to have 2 to 3 reliable sources, but no more than 3. And your organization needs to make sense and be easy to follow. You can pretty much write about anything you want as long as it is somehow related to STEM. The exception here is you may not write about cell phones or social media unless you can convince me ahead of time that you have something interesting to say. I've read far too many papers about cell phones and social media that are just regurgitating the same old points over and over again. It's very rare where I see someone write something that is truly innovative or interesting about the topics of cell phone and social media. So if you feel like you have a good point to make, feel free to reach out to me and run that by me. But otherwise, let's avoid the topics of cell phones and social media. Have a list of other topics here for you to consider. This is not an exhaustive list by any means, just a list to get you thinking about some possible things to write about. Now that we've talked about the assignment, let's jump back to brainstorming for the second project. We just looked at the assignment sheet and the topic choices. I'd like you to consider a possible topic for the paper and write one paragraph explaining why you're interested in that topic and what you already know about it. Then I'd like you to search online for articles about your topic and share links to at least 2 articles. Make sure that the articles are credible. If you're not sure what makes an article credible or not, feel free to talk to me. I'd be happy to give you some information and some resources on that. That is just about everything. Let's take a look at the discussion board for this week. Your initial post is due Wednesday, February 16th. In your initial post, What is a pop culture item that you've enjoyed that has been related to science, technology, engineering, or math? What was it, and why did you like it so much? How would you rate the STEM material in it? Was it trying to be credible? Was it simply imagined? Did that help or hinder it? You can choose a movie, a TV show, a book, a play, etc. So any sort of like text from popular culture. And you're going to be thinking about how STEM is essentially presented within that property. Your response posts are due Sunday. I'd like you to reply to at least two classmates about their choices. Your replies don't need to be super long, but I will be looking to see that you have some amount of depth and thoughtfulness in your replies to your peers. That is all for this week. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. I would be happy to help you out.